We are live.
And it's not me being a millennial, it's me not trusting Twitch's infrastructure.
This infrastructure has billions of dollars behind it.
Yeah, no, billion-dollar companies seek every way to cut corners and pinch pennies, so I wouldn't be surprised if something was busted.
That's true. Or if something's busted on your end, which has happened more often.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Has also happened. Oh, so it sounds like you had a good weekend.
Yeah, it's been pretty relaxing. We started Princess Mononoke, but forgot it was like 2 hours.
So I mean, most movies are about 2 hours.
Yeah, but the ones we had been looking at were like an hour, right? Hour and a half. And we started falling asleep, so I just went to bed.
Oh, I got a little sleepy.
Yeah. So I watched most of Princess Mononoke.
Fell asleep in the middle? Oh.
It was like it was like right at that perfect Act 3 spot where he's in the cave talking to the wolf god, you know.
Because you hate nature?
No, it was just like I could have gone to bed at 9 and it was
you could always go to bed at 9.
So
you're an old man.
I know. But yeah, I made some more boiled cabbage just to make myself sound more like an old man.
Oh, sorry, never mind. That's a youthful meal right there. Only young people boil the cabbage.
Irish. It's really good. Have you ever
just
had
boiled cabbage? Yeah, I've had boiled cabbage. I don't cabbage that's been boiled.
It's more steamed than boiled, but it's really enjoyable. I like the texture quite a lot.
It's good for my digestion.
It tastes good, goddammit.
No, I mean, if you like to boil your cabbage and eat that, and that's just what you eat for a whole week, then that's fine.
No, that's just
I know how you operate. I know how you operate. You make a thing that lasts like 30 days.
No, it only lasts a week. And even at that, it's 4 days usually, 4 to 5 days. Because then Saturday, Sunday, and Friday, I usually have something different.
Like raw lettuce. Baby carrots.
What about baby carrots?
It's just that as your meal?
No, it's they're called sausage pockets.
Oh,
not very healthy. It's
like a hot pocket but made of sausage.
No, it's a crescent roll, and inside it you have ground sausage, but I used the vegetarian stuff.
It's kind of like a pigs in a blanket.
Yeah,
or maybe a meat pie.
Yeah, you mix it with cheddar cheese and cream cheese as well. So.
Boiled cabbage and meat pies. Are you like an English peasant?
It's good. And plus the sausage,
coming, my lord.
The sausage pockets are, self-contained, so I don't have to get a plate. I can just stand over my sink and eat it from my hand.
You're living your best life. I respect that.
I don't like to sit. I've noticed that I never sit down to eat after work. I always stand. I don't know why.
It's like a fight or flight kind of thing.
I don't know. It's just I get everything out and put my dinner together, and then I just kind of eat it standing over the stove.
You have a nice table. Nice kitchen table.
Yeah, well, the computer's there right now. That's probably why I'm not doing it. But even before that, I still wouldn't sit down to eat. Because then I'll sit there and then maybe I'll pull out my phone and stuff like that.
Only a few more months and you'll have that kitchen table back where you can eat.
Well, I'm transferred. You said I transferred a bunch of files. I got a free 128 gig flash drive. So
that's nice.
Dumped a bunch of stuff.
How'd you swing that?
Grand opening of Micro Center in Indy.
Oh, nice.
Even though I went to it before it was open, I went back like a month later, and they're like, grand opening. I'm like, hold on a second.
It's still grand?
I already bought all my shit from here. What are you talking about?
Long opening.
So they were giving out free 128 gig flash drives.
It's nice. Storage is so cheap nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really is. My dad I think he bought like a 512 gig. He could have gotten a 512 gig flash drive for I think it was like $20 to $50. No, the $50 one was a SanDisk. The flash drives are cheap, man. But so I transferred a crap load of stuff from this PC onto that, and I'm transferring it. That's what I was doing while I was cooking. I would set something going, transferring, and then go back to what I was doing. And it's almost all off the flash drive, and that's all the stuff that I think I'll need immediately. And then the rest is just downloading video games. So
what's gonna be your system pushing video game that you're gonna try first?
I don't know. I don't think I own any system pushing video games.
You got Minecraft. Put on a bunch of those like really fancy RTX, 4K Minecraft mods.
That's true.
And then and see how far you can scale with the distance viewing until it starts to catch fire.
All right, yeah, it's my first test. Got all ray tracing on all this. And the computer exploded. Okay.
Well, no, I mean with your new computer, it'll probably be able to handle it. I mean, I saw your specs that you put up.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I probably have some games in there. I think I've got Death Stranding from a Humble Bundle.
That's a pretty intensive game.
So maybe I don't know. I don't know if I want to play Walking Sim.
It's a delivery sim. Thank you, and it's fun.
It's the very first Strand type game.
You get to play as Norman Reedus, and you get to deliver packages to Conan O'Brien. It's quintessential Japanese game.
Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus.
It really is. That fetus is pretty funky in that game.
There's probably some other stuff I've gotten in Humble Bundles that I've nabbed because I'm like, oh, that's actually what I consider current. Right? Death Stranding is a current game, right?
It came out like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's newer, compared to some.
I'd say that's fairly current.
I remember it came out right before COVID.
Okay, a lifetime ago.
That was which is you ever play? You'll be like, wow, was before the pandemic. Will make you think.
What about your weekend, Cooper? What have you been doing?
It's been a nice, relaxing weekend. Got some chores done myself. Went to a Paul Rubin tribute. Watched Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Great movie.
Never seen it.
Funny movie. They were busting it in the audience. Did some running.
I saw you ran today at the middle of the day.
It was hot. It wasn't my best time. I'm like, it's it's in the mid 80s. That it could be hotter, but
something about today, man. I stepped outside and I just immediately broke into a sweat every time.
Yeah, I was sweating by the end there. But I've got a me and some friends are doing a 50K relay. Where we each do a 10K portion of the relay. So I'm training for that so that I won't be the slowest one there. Yeah. And then I can say I did a 50K race. And then I'll just add a very tiny asterisk. I'll just say asterisk. Oh, huh?
What was that last bit?
No, 50K race. Asterisk. And then ask them not to ask any questions further. No, you're not allowed to ask me on it. So that'll be coming up September. So hopefully it'll be a little cooler by then.
Yeah, that'll be a bit nicer. We're hopefully getting through the hottest part of the year now.
It's the dog days of summer. That's August.
Yep. I feel like July had been worse.
July was pretty hot, especially down in like the south. Hot days, but hey, September is fall weather, baby.
I'm ready.
I'm ready for the fall leaves.
It'll hit mid-January, and I'll be begging for the heat to come back.
Oh, that's the fun thing about seasons. It always does eventually. I've also been watching through some, or I guess I was just watching the first episode. I'm going to try to get caught up on the Castlevania series before the new season comes out.
Yes. Is there a new season coming?
You and Matt are always... Huh?
Is there a new season coming?
Yeah, they're sometime in like late September.
Ah, shit. I'm excited.
Or I guess it's a new series, but it's also Castlevania.
Oh, well, that's fair. I can respect that. I feel like any more with the current characters might be played out.
So, yeah, I'm going to... You and Matt speak so highly of it.
Yes. It is very, very good. I enjoy it quite a bit. The animation is superb throughout.
Do you like the animation?
It's also very cursy, and there's some nudity, so maybe don't watch it in public.
I'm not going out to a park bench with my laptop.
I did watch it while I was
running. No headphones.
I watched it while I was running on the treadmill in the gym, so... did my best to hide the neuter scenes with my body. Walked a little bit closer to the stand at that point.
Did you just scream, "Don't look at me!" while you're trying to cover it up with your forearms? It's art.
But no, it's very fun. It's a good series. Did not go the direction I thought it would go, but it's good. Maybe if you play Castlevania, it does, but I have not. We want to talk about the album?
Yeah, I'll jump into it.
We've been chatting for a little bit here. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop Podcast. This week, we listened to Headhunters by Herbie Hancock, which I could have sworn that we reviewed previously, but I guess we just both have listened to it extensively because of Watermelon Man. And listening through the album, I was like, I remember all this. I guess I listened to this album more than I thought. And I guess it was probably in college.
When you first discovered Herbie.
Well, you probably introduced me.
Yeah, no. I mean, like you said, it's Herbie Hancock, or Herbert Jeffrey Hancock, born in 1940. He's an American jazz musician, band leader. He played with Miles Davis, kind of helped redefine jazz. And in the 70s, where this album came out, kind of experiment with jazz fusion, funk, electro, synthesizers, especially during this album. This kind of considered his most influential album in that aspect. And he is well allotted 14 Grammys, Album of the Year. And he actually served as a professor at the University of California School of Music.
I mean, for good reason.
And he's also chairman of the Herbie Hancock Institute of Jazz, so which makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Headhunters is his 12th studio album, released in 1973. And it was a commercial success, a artistic success.
Yeah, very advanced for the time.
And as all the musicians on this album play multiple instruments throughout the album, except for one of them. I have to pull up the Wikipedia page to remember who, but it's a multi-instrumentalist album. Yeah, so Herbie's out here playing the Fender Rhodes electric piano, bunch of synthesizers. You got Benny Maupin on the saxophones, the bass clarinet, the flute, Paul Jackson on the bass guitar, and the marimbula. Mason, who is just drums. Just drums. And Bill Summers, who played a bunch of different instruments here that I don't think I could pronounce. I did play the beer bottles on Watermelon Man.
A very talented group.
Yeah. So we'll, I say we just jump right into it then.
Yeah, jump into track number 1 then.
Track number 1, Chameleon.
It's a 4-track album, so this is a pretty short album, right, Cooper?
Well, 4-track album at 40 minutes. So this first song is 15 minutes, 16 minutes long. Which, I mean, is not really that out of character for a jazz album, right?
No.
Or it's almost like a section album.
Yeah, and it works. This song did not feel, mainly because it keeps morphing between. It doesn't try and keep a melody all the way through. It's jazz, right? So it just kind of morphs into different things as it goes along. Which, Chameleon, it fits.
Cool. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't. It's a long song, right? You like jazz, that kind of thing. But it starts with this kind of farty synthy bass, a little bit of drumming as some guitar sneaks in, you start to get the melodic lines come through.
Yeah, everything really starts to stack up nice and slow. The first minute 35 is just kind of getting into the into the song, and by that point you've got all the different instruments playing the melody together, and an even fartier synth in the right ear in the back.
Yeah, the synths get pretty farty on this album.
Yeah. Well, this
I guess this was the 1970s, so the synths weren't as sparkling as they'd get into the 80s. Lambo or funky and Toe Jam and Earl style.
But I really like the saxophone. The saxophone is featured very prominently throughout this album. And as we get to the the 3-minute mark-ish thereabouts, the saxophone pops out a little bit more in the melody. And the instruments they were all playing in unison, but they're kind of starting to drop off and do their own thing. And then at the 4-minute mark, it all just breaks apart, and then we're into the real heavy jazz section.
Yeah, that's when it really starts up at like the 4-minute mark. It's songs don't really get going until the 4-minute mark. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like the synth flow starts going. I mean, the synth is interesting in the album throughout. But like you said, it's almost like breaking down as like the song goes throughout, or maybe kind of breaking out of the melodic mold is a better way to put it.
Yeah, I guess. So jump into back to the 4-minute mark. There's that very spacey synth solo, which I enjoy the Leslie speaker effect, but man, it's a long solo, maybe a little bit too long.
It is pretty lengthy solo, but it's a pretty lengthy song.
It is, but there's more instruments there that could solo rather than just the synth. And you know me, I love me some synth, but this one, I don't know. It just by the last minute of it, it kind of lost its spice.
That breaks back down at like the 7:30 point. It goes into this kind of really dirty bass solo.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's got some dirt on it, which I like. Especially since there's a lot of funk influences throughout this album. I think in so much as the bass that kind of plays throughout the album as well.
And right after that bass, we get the piano solo that's jumping between your ears, and it's at this point it's kind of more of a laid back jazz vibe than it was putting off at the start of the song as well.
Oh yeah, once the synth falls out, it kind of goes lower energy, especially when the bass is taking the lead. Though, I mean, eventually the synth does come back in a more glistening, kind of lighter frame of mind with some light flute accompaniment,
mm-hmm.
which would have been provided by Mr. Benny Maupin.
There's also some of that scary synth. I don't know if it's like 925 mark and 945.
Scary synth.
I don't know how else to describe it. Kind of digital strings, but kind of horror movie-esque. Yeah, it's good. And then we hit the 1330 mark, and it just kind of full resets back to the start. And I had the evil thought of it. What if you knew, like you were with a group of friends that knew this song, right? How many times do you think you could loop it without them realizing you had looped it, right? If you were to cut it right where it resets and then start the song over again.
Or cut it to the middle of the song.
Yeah.
I don't remember Chameleon being 87 minutes long.
Because initially, it's a 15-minute song, right? You just think, oh, my notion of how long time is wrong. I feel like probably by 30 minutes, you might be suspecting something.
It would be interesting if you just had this on you just cut it smartly and you had on a 10-hour loop. And if you just put it on the background at a party or something,
mm-hmm.
How long would it take for the first person to be like, has this song been going on for an hour and a half?
Interesting experiment to try for someone out there. But that's all I had for Chameleon, Cooper. You got?
I do want to mention at the 12-minute mark. These, I mean, they're synthy, but they're almost like you said, the string-like synthesizers coming in. I think it's interesting progressions, a little less flashy, but kind of diversifies the instrumentation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's a 50-minute song, but it doesn't feel it.
No, it is. It is definitely. It's jazz. It really feels good.
Go on to track number 2 here, then. A Watermelon Man.
The shortest song on the album.
at a brisk 6.5 minutes. but it is. This is the Herbie Hancock song, or at least one of them. Probably most recognizable by its start, which has it has Harvey Mason, or I guess Bill Summers, playing the beer bottles.
Oh, those are beer bottles?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was. You ever seen that video of the indigenous flute instrument where it only plays one note, and then you
I've
the
seen
other
that
notes?
video.
I thought it sounded something like that, but beer bottles make sense too.
Well, it says a specific. That might be. Oh, because it says a Hindawu beer bottles. Within Dawu is a style of singing/whistle playing.
Okay, so I'm mostly
Central
right
African Republic. So maybe it's like a specific way of playing a beer bottle.
Oh, so it's using the beer bottle as that flute instrument. See, I was right.
Yeah.
I got the instrument part wrong, but I got the style correct. Because it definitely sounds like a single note with singing, and I really love the sound of that.
Yeah, it's a unique instrumentation type. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, he's blowing on a bottle, but he's doing it in a very high-pitched kind of vocalized way.
Yes. I wish I could pull the video up and show it, but there's a video that goes around the internet every once in a while of someone demonstrating it, and as he puts it, it's having a conversation with your instrument, because it can only play one note, so you have to provide all the rest of the notes, and you're kind of the limitation breeds creativity. So I'm glad I got that right.
It kind of shows at the beginning of this song, where it also has like a. I guess there's like a guy yelping in the background.
That too, yeah.
Like I said, there's your singing for the album.
I do love how it sounds,
but it kind of breaks away eventually into a more, I guess, traditional groove.
Yeah, it slowly fades away by the 150 mark.
We kind of get a build up of funk and guitar until the groove kind of smooths out into like a synth and sax solo.
Yeah, get that. It's there's piano as well. It might be synthesized, but it sounds like piano. And then there's that. I want to say it's synthesizer sax around the 2-minute mark. It sounds too digital to be saxophone, or at least they put a very heavy filter on it.
I mean, we got tenor and soprano sax on this. A saxello? Maybe that's what it is? What's a saxello?
How do you spell it?
Saxello.
Oh, maybe.
That's it's like it's like a little tiny sax.
Well, later on, there's one that I said might be a piccolo sax, but that definitely that might be what I was hearing instead, because that looks like a piccolo sax.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe that's why it sounds sax-like, but not quite.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. There's a video here, but I can't click it to hear what it sounds like.
Yeah, no, there's some interesting instrumentation all throughout this album.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of more interesting woodwinds. We've been hitting. I asked for it, and we've been hitting it every time. Granted, this one is mainly saxophones, which are already the most overrepresented woodwind, but I digress.
Saxellos are not overrepresented, I'd say.
It's in the saxophone family. Do you know the man who invented the saxophone almost died?
He's still alive?
No.
I was about to say, how old is he?
Let's see. Let me find the inventor. Invented by Adolf Sax, surprisingly.
That's a terrible name. I feel. I mean, obviously at the time, I'm sure it didn't know the connotation, but sounds like a fake name you'd make up for the guy who invented the saxophone.
Don't worry, there's an E at the end.
Okay, good.
So maybe it's not pronounced the same way. Well, it doesn't have anything on his wiki. Oh no, here it is. He faced many brushes with death. As a child, he once fell from a height of 3 floors, hit his head on a stone, and was believed dead. At the age of 3, he drank a bowl full of acidic water, mistaking it for milk, and swallowed a pin. He received serious burns from a gunpowder explosion and once fell onto a hot cast iron frying pan, burning his side. Several times he avoided accidental poisoning and asphyxiation from sleeping in a room where the varnished furniture was drying. Another time he was struck on the head by a cobblestone and fell into a river.
Sounds like Adolf had some terrible parents.
Yeah. His mother once said that he's a child condemned to misfortune. He won't live.
Jeez. I mean, we could lock the varnish room, but that just takes a couple extra seconds. And
his neighbors called him Little Sax the Ghost. And then he went on to invent the saxophone.
I mean, good for him.
Born November 6th, 1814. Still active today.
Wow.
No, died.
Why can't I die?
Died in 1894.
Oh boy. I thought you were gonna say something like he almost choked to death on a saxophone or something.
No, it reads as if someone was trying to prevent him from creating the saxophone.
I was about to say, who sets out acidic water?
Fuck maybe his parents were trying to kill him. I don't know.
Jeez.
Don't want to get sued. Allegedly, we don't want to get sued for slander.
Yeah, I'm sure his parents are still very active in the lawsuit.
I've heard they're very litigious. It's a fun song, and the flute comes back around the 5-minute mark, or sorry, the beer bottle and singing, which I enjoy the sound of that quite a lot. I wish it was throughout
bookmarks
the whole song.
The ends of the songs.
Yeah, I wish.
Then we
the
get
whole
into track number 3, if you're ready.
Yeah, track 3.
Sly. Starts with a little busting of sax and synth. Kind of the main two goes on this album.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit similar to the end of Chameleon, but then launches into double time at the 2-minute mark, with whatever saxophone we were talking about before. I've already forgotten the saxello, because I thought this was a piccolo sax because it's just a bit too high for an alto. But it is a nice sound, and it's nice. It's a nice change of pace. The fact that it's so much faster.
Well, it doesn't start that fast.
No, it does not.
But it kind of gets into it then. I mean, the beginning almost has like a sultry, detective procedural spy movie vibe going on with it.
And then you get into the chase scene.
Ah, yes.
And by the end of the sax solo during the double time, I was getting tired. I'm getting tired on his behalf. He's really ripping away there.
Yeah, geez. I mean, this is a 10-minute song, and well, at least the drumming, drumming
yes.
and the synth in the background, not to mention the sax in the foreground.
Why do you think the drummer only played the one instrument?
Feeling like I'm at the end of you ever seen the movie Whiplash?
No, I actually haven't.
Oh well, just like sweating at the end, just bleeding out of his hands. He's pretty consistent throughout this 10-minute song.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the drums are good throughout the whole album. On all 4 songs.
4 out of 4. Yeah, no, like I said, the sax kind of has its solo as it gets into the energetic part. And it's just a real high crying quality to it. Before it has like a spacey kind of restart at like the 5:30 mark.
Mm-hmm. Well, the double time lets up and the piano gets a turn to solo. While I think it's heavily filtered electric guitar is going ham in the right ear at the same time.
I'm pretty sure it's electric guitar.
That's what it sounded like, but I couldn't. There's a lot going on. I was like, I don't want to pick this apart too much. I would also like to enjoy listening to it. So.
No, this is an enjoyable song. I mean, it kind of switches up the tempos every now and then. It kind of has like these restarts that happen a few times throughout the song. The song just kind of starts and then picks back up again. Mm-hmm. I guess so they can all just take a drink of water or something. But you got to admire the energy on this one.
Yes. I will say I really love when it all comes to a stop for a second with the whistle. They do it like 2 or 3 times throughout the song.
Yeah.
I remember that really well for some reason. And I guess I listened to this album a lot or something.
Your dad a big Herbie Hancock head?
I didn't think I did. I didn't think I'd listen to a lot, but I guess I did.
Your father. What's your dad's name again? Herbert?
Huh? What?
Oh, it's been a while since I've looked at this. My father is Herbert Hancock. No, but yeah, and then it slows back down at the end of the song. And then back to that sultry and energy. Great into a song.
Yeah. I'm glad it didn't try and do double time throughout the whole thing, because man, that would have been exhausting.
Okay, let's bring it on down then to the last song of the album.
Track 4.
Track 4, Vein Melter, which is probably the least aptly named song on this album.
Yes.
It is not as high energy as the song title would suggest.
No, not at all. Real slow roller after the franticness of the previous one. The bass and the drums loop every single bar, but with the sax waffling away over the top of it, and the other instruments kind of sticking their heads in occasionally, it leads to more of like a trance-like sound than being annoying. It's very calming.
It's a very, very low-key song.
Yes.
Where it has like the steady, lazy bass guitar and like some low sax all throughout.
Get some.
This sly vampire absorbed all the energy from Vein Melter.
Yes. Get some digital strings popping in around the 220 mark, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I'll be honest. That's the only instrument I don't like, because mainly it sticks out and drowns everything else out a little bit, but also sounds like the GameCube era of Nintendo sound font. I'm pretty sure those are the same strings that were used in Pikmin.
Herbie Hancock made Pikmin? Man, he is multi-instrumentalist.
Just those digital strings sound very familiar.
What if you were... How would you like if you went onto YouTube after this episode and just some interviews with Herbie Hancock in 1973? He goes, yeah, Vein Melter, it's really... There's no words, but the story in my head was, you're a little man who landed on Earth and you controlled a bunch of little plane aliens that picked up things and unlocked doors for you. Like, what? Huh? Herbie Hancock makes Pikmin. Now, this song is very low-key. I would say too low-key for a 10-minute runtime.
Oh, I loved it the whole way through.
Like, it's not bad, Mm-hmm. I like the kind of laid back energy, but it's a little sleepy for the amount of time it spends on itself.
I felt like it was a very good, wind down. It just kind of melts into nothingness there at the end. My heart was beating about as fast as the kick drum once every 4 bars.
That kick drum was not. You've got a resting heartbeat of like 30, anyways. So.
I mean, my resting heart rate is sometimes down as low as 40. So,
Sam sleeps in a giant vat of gel. He's suspended where they're measuring his heart rate. Yeah, he gets it down to the single digits every night.
I mean, He's
been declared legally dead 8 times.
I can measure it right now if you want me to.
Yeah, go for it.
I gotta find the app. There it is. But yeah, I really enjoyed how low key it was. It was just nice. Just a nice little relaxing song to end everything out.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice relaxing song. Pull down for the artist and for the listener. And that's about it. It's a 4-song album. There's not much to say beyond that. But I do like the occasional album that we listen to where it's just chunkier songs.
So my heart rate's all the way up at 60 right now. It's a bit hot down here.
Calm down there.
That's actually high for me.
I've got a resting heart rate of 220.
That's not good. Your resting heart rate should be good too. Runners have good resting. I think that's part of why mine's so low, because I've been running for so long.
It does help.
Or I have a disease, one of the two. Anyway. But yeah,
you're still alive.
Well, knock on wood. That's how we get famous. Die live on
just
air.
over a bowl of acidic water. Wait, which one was my drinking water? Which one was my acid water? Well, I'll drink both just to be safe.
I probably shouldn't have revarnished all my furniture before doing this podcast. I'm getting a little lightheaded.
Let me get some air from my 3rd-story window. Whoa!
Anyway, that's the album.
Okay, that is the album. Unless
you have anything else add about Van Melter Group.
No, that's all I had to say.
So let's do least favorite first. What's your least favorite? And I think I know which one it is.
Well, there's 4 songs, so you can flip a coin twice.
Yeah.
But Van Melter. Van Melter makes it sound like it's a guy's name. Van Melter was Adolf's neighbor.
What would their first name be?
Also Adolf. It was the 1850s. It was a popular name back then.
Popular.
No, yeah. It just, it's a fine song. Just like 9 minutes of really low key sleepy music. Kind of starts to have me glaze over. What about you, Sam?
I don't know. I can't pick one. I'll be honest. I really enjoyed all of them.
Wow. No least favorite. What about least favorite section of a song?
The Nintendo strings in Vein Melter. They just they weren't mixed as well as everything else. That's really only the only spot on the album where I was like, I'm not a fan of this. I think I was just in the mood for this album today. When I sat down to write, I needed it.
It is a mood album.
Yeah, and I think I was right in the right spot. But yeah, those Nintendo strings around the 220 mark of Vein Melter is probably my least favorite section, just because the mixing's a little bit odd and not up to snuff from what I've come to expect from the previous 3 songs that total in 30 minutes.
What about your favorite song then?
I'm gonna be a basic bitch, and I gotta say Watermelon Man. It's the one I come back to and listen to all the time. And it's just fun. I love just a nice, fun song. It's just fun and interesting,
I guess. Very interesting instrumentation.
Yeah. What about you? What's your favorite song?
I gotta say Chameleon.
Okay.
It's a strong song. I mean, 16 minutes. Keeps my interest the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Goes different places. Great instrumentation throughout that kind of evolves and, transforms throughout. You got your bass solos, you got your synth solos, you got your sax solos. The song has it all. I just really like it.
It is it's a good song. I understand.
Well, I think it's time for our rating, Sam. I think it's your turn to take it.
One of these days we're gonna we're gonna forget how we came to be, but not this week. So here at Audio Shop, huh?
What the hell was that?
Here at Audio Shop, we actually were going to make a Pixar's Planes themed podcast reviewing music, but surprisingly, that was already taken. And so was the Cars themed one. So we just went for the Cars minus Pixar theme.
No joke. I took a class in college where one of the homework assignments that was required was to watch Planes, Fire, and Rescue.
And
sorry, go on.
It just moved you so much that he brought me on board, and we did. That's what we wanted to theme it, but that was taken, and we had to go with choice number 3, which was just normal cars. So at the tip top, we've got Showroom, the cream of the crop, the best of the best, and then bottom of the barrel is Scrapyard, 1 out of 5, worst. Don't listen to it. Ooh, gross. Total cash in. Not much gets put down there, especially after that Santana album. Which hurt my soul. But yeah, that's a high, low, in between. Basically, just whatever we're feeling that day. But it's pretty consistent, I'd say. So, Cooper, what would you rate this album?
I'd have to give this album a high like new. I think it's an excellent album. I can see why it's considered a quintessential, 70s jazz album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heavy use of synthesizer. It doesn't take itself too seriously. A lot of the instrumentation while also being very proficient at it. It's not like off the wall crazy, but very, it's a subtly flashy album, not like in your face flashy, which I always respect in instrumentation.
Yeah.
And yeah, just 4 songs, 40 minutes. It's a tight set. What about you, Sam?
I think I'm gonna have to rate it a low showroom. I really love this album, and I can't believe I forgot about it, because I went into this before we reviewed it this week. I was like, I don't think I've listened to this all the way through before. And then I'm listening to it. I'm like, no, I definitely have listened to this multiple times all the way through. Why don't I remember? Yeah, it's a fun album. I mean, you might have to be in the mood for it, but I mean, I'm a sucker for jazz, so that's probably a big part of it.
You like jazz?
I like jazz. So that's the episode. That's the album. Now we're gonna roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've listened to this past week. I've not listened to anything. I don't think I've listened to any. I listened to a little bit of Daft Punk today, but I've been YouTubing it up still, and podcasting. So what about you, Coop? You listen to anything new?
Yeah, I listened through some Pearl and the Oysters albums. Great band. Really, really lovely summer vibes there. A Dumbo Gets Mad album, which was also fantastic. I'm a big fan of theirs. A Gang Gang Dance album. Eye Contact, which is a weird album, but I really like it. And you know the band Tears for Fears?
No,
They
no.
everybody wants to rule the
one hit wonder.
That's what I thought. But one of my friends told me to listen to their album Seeds of Love, and it is actually a banger front to back. Because I was also in the impression like, oh yeah, I know them, they're a one hit wonder, but that album's actually pretty great. So yeah, I've been listening to some of my summer jams this week.
I've not even opened up my Hot Girl Summer playlist at all this summer yet.
You gotta hurry. Summer's coming to an end here soon.
Yeah. But maybe I'll try and listen to some music this week. I thought I listened to a new single or something, but I looked and I guess I didn't. So. Well,
you got a little bit of summer left.
Yeah.
Before you're not allowed to listen to music for the 8 other months of the year.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Well, that's the show. If you've liked what you've heard and you want to listen more, scroll down on the Twitch. That is, there's a link to our YouTube. Jeff Lynn, picture. He's got aviators on and a fake afro. They'll take you almost all the previous episodes. If you're listening on YouTube, you can go to the description. Follow us on Twitch. We're live usually Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Are you going to be available next weekend, Coop?
Should be.
So, tentative, yes, for next weekend. And is that fascist hell site still up, Coop?
I assume you're talking about Twitter. Sorry, X-Zitter.
No, it's Twitter. Don't call it that. It's Twitter.
But Sam, did you know X is the coolest letter of the alphabet?
Yeah, maybe if you're like fucking 12.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's Elon. He's been 12 for a while. Now you can follow us at Twitter at AudioShotPod. That's POD. We'll let you know what we're listening to and when we're going to listen to it.
Yeah, but that's all we got for you this week. We will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya.